Two arrested in connection to cocaine raid. COVID-19 testing beefed up with drive-through tests. And Prime Minister promises more landowner consultation.
This is National EMTV News with Jeremy Mogi.
Thank you for joining us. This is Monday's news. More investigations are being conducted into a suspected crime syndicate after police seized 200 million kina worth of cocaine. Already 2 suspects have been arrested and police are expecting more arrests to be made. It's the second media conference since the seizure of over 750 kilograms of cocaine became public. Police Commissioner David Manning outlining the operation that led to PNG's biggest drug bust. A massive haul of 28 bales of cocaine with a street value of 80 million Australian dollars or 200 million kina.
Where the said person, David John Cutmore, was detained at the Immigration Detention Centre at Bumana and further interviewed. Police reconstructed the scene with his assistance and raised a number of search warrants. On 30th of July, we executed some of these search warrants at Sunset Lodge in Papalele and arrested 2 suspects, being 2 PNG male nationals. Soon after, we executed another search warrant on the Sanctuary Hotel, which we were unable to uncover any further evidence. On Friday, the 31st of July, further inquiries were made, which led to the arrest of another suspect, Manu Otoport, here in the nation's capital, which led us to a local lodge in the city, in which we were able to retrieve a large amount of Australian cash, TV screens, which were evidence of items that were brought in on the plane. And this also led to the apprehension of another suspect. The first suspect, the Manu Otoport, had on his possession 20,000 Australian dollars. The second suspect at the lodge also had with him the amount of Australian $20,000 as well. Also, electrical items were brought in from the plane. Beg your pardon, also confiscated were electrical items brought in from the plane. The suspects confessed to the location of the drugs, which led Mr. Yambasombi and his team to the bushlands around the south of Papalele, where the drugs were located and were retrieved the same day. Further inquiries being made to identify others involved in the syndicate are ongoing.
52-year-old David Cutmore, an Australian citizen, is currently being detained at the Immigration Detention Centre. It is expected that he will face additional charges under the National Pandemic Act, and 2 other arrests have since been made in connection to the haul.
Let me just answer just quite briefly that yes, we have evidence that suggests that there a greater syndicate at play in country, and we have established through our inquiries certain leads, and until we conclude those investigations or those inquiries, we'll have more information.
The investigation, a 2-year joint operation with the Australian Federal Police, has ascertained that a major Australian crime organisation has been seeking to use Papua New Guinea as a transit point for drugs.
Was charged under the Migration Act of 1978 for illegally entering Papua New Guinea and was fined 3,000 kina. The constabulary is cooperating with the Australian authorities in relation to his involvement with others in the conspiracy to import the drugs into Australia, an offence which carries a 25-year maximum sentence. Our investigators are now looking at laying additional charges on Mr. Cutmore under the National Pandemic Act.
Well, there had been massive public outrage on the fines and penalty received so far by the pilot in question. The Commissioner is hoping that better legislation will occur into tougher penalties to serve as a deterrent against future drug movement.
In the ensuing weeks to put together appropriate legislation for consideration by our legislators to ensure that we have the appropriate laws in place.
With the investigation still ongoing, Manning says more arrests are expected to be made once more intelligence and evidence is collected. Meanwhile, the Commissioner also issued a warning to members of the public to bring forward factual evidence to the police rather than use in social media. This comes after ACP Operations Donald Yamasombi had been the target of accusations leveled against him regarding police involvement in an organized crime syndicate. Lack of communication between parties involved in the court matter over the closure of Porgera mine has created another issue involving third parties engaged by Barrick New Guinea Limited. The National Court matter returned to court today with state lawyers frustrated that Barrick did not inform them or the court before removing what it claims to be third-party assets out from the mine.
The National Court matter returned today with Solicitor General Tavasa Tanuvasa bringing to the court's attention that some of the mine's assets were removed over the weekend. The state claims the defendants and the court were not informed by Barrick New Guinea Limited prior to this removal exercise. The actions, in the defendants' view, disrespects the court, claiming there has to be an agreement to verify which assets are third party. Currently, the state has not been given an inventory of all the assets, including third party assets. The Solicitor General advised the court that appropriate evidence regarding these issues will be provided as soon as possible. Barrick New Guinea Limited over the weekend released a statement that a convoy of vehicles traveling from the mine to Lae was unlawfully prevented from leaving Porgera by police. The company says a convoy of 15 trucks carrying third-party owned equipment that had been leased to the mine but was now being repatriated to its owners following the closure of the mining at Porgera mine earlier this year was ordered by police at MIPE to return to the mine site on the afternoon of Saturday, 1st of August. The equipment being transported included drilling equipment, power generators and related power equipment owned by Aggreko Australia. Barrick says it acted upon a court order issued on the 17th of July 2020 confirming that the assets carried by the convoy could be transported from the mine for the purpose of repatriation to their owners was issued by the National Court, and that the restraint on convoy movement appeared to have been done in direct contravention of that order. Order number 2 of the orders issued by the court on the 17th of July 2020 says all parties are forthwith restrained from either removing or entering into any transaction or arrangement that concerns Porgera mine related assets, plants or equipment or installation, except only for third-party items that are subject to existing lease or rental with the Porgera joint venture or the Porgera mine operations. But according to the Solicitor General, the orders acted upon by Barrick are not the final orders, and that all parties were asked to return to court today to finalize these orders. The matter, however, was moved to 3 p.m. tomorrow. Shamin Poreambep, National EMTV News.
Prime Minister James Marape has promised more consultation with Morobe landowners who will be affected by mine waste dumping, while also reminding them that there will be a cost to the environment. He made the statement during a ceremony marking the start of construction work on the Nadzab Airport upgrade. The Fisheries Minister, meanwhile, says there will be vigorous debate over the proposal to dump mine tailings as the ministry prepares for new fisheries projects in Morobe.
The Prime Minister's presence in Lae marking the start of the expansion of the Nadzab Airport drew attention to the concerns of Nadzab landowners who feel left out in the 900 million kina development project. And this is not the only group of landowners that could prove too vocal to ignore. While other cabinet members tried to ease the concerns, the lingering debate over the dumping of mine waste was brought to the PM's attention yet again. Marape's response was that consultation isn't over.
And if there's some issues on the ground, we'll get more consultations. That's something I give for people to be fully aware of what is happening. And for us as national government too, at my level in cabinet, We are not fully briefed yet from Environment and Conservation.
For the government, Wafi Golpu has to happen. And for communities along the Huon coast, it is an environmental risk and there hasn't been adequate consultation. 2 weeks ago, the Environment Minister, Wera Mori, visited the communities in the Huon Gulf. Some were not included in his schedule. He told the media that a decision had not been made on whether tailings would be dumped into Morobe waters. The PM says the project comes at a cost to the environment.
Well, mining operation has a cost to environment. And so it's up to our landowners, provincial government as well as national government, what is the least damaging mode of discharge to the environment is something that we must accept. And
to another series of projects in Morobe, the Fisheries Minister signed a memorandum of agreement with the provincial government. Dr. Lino Tom said later the discussions about the tailings was something they had not talked about with other government agencies, but he would be taking the discussion to Cabinet.
So we'll actually push our agenda to make sure that we have a balance there that, like we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, so to speak.
Scott Waide, National MTV News, Leh.
The people of Bogia district in Madang province witnessed the launching of the Awar coconut plantation rehabilitation by Prime Minister James Marape. The Awar plantation is one of the 10 rundown plantations in Bogia. It will now undergo rehab and redevelopment to allow for copra production. This is also an implementation under the Bogia District Agriculture Plan, in line with the Marape-Stevens government in prioritizing the agriculture sector in PNG.
The progress of reviving the Awar plantation began last year after the land title was acquired. Locals will now be engaged to work in the rehabilitation of the coconut plantation. Chairman Joseph Basse says he will be inviting partners to move forward the production of copra.
Now, first part of this is something, maybe a wedding pennies, I'm not titles. None of the second part, I'm like, how this is a plantation, Bamba Iran. I'm a run of some business. Maybe I'm an invited partner. Long run one time.
In support of the redevelopment of the plantation, Minister for Agriculture and Livestock, John Simon, committed 500,000 kina to also begin cocoa nursery. Bogia District MP Robert Naguri urged these people to put more effort into growing cash crop, especially cocoa, vanilla and copra. He is confident the plantation will generate more revenue to sustain their lives and the economy.
This lab work the plantation, and by carrying economy from Papua New Guinea. Before long independence that come, cacao the coconuts, he carry Papua New Guinea. You know when the gas the go. Cacao the coconuts. Now vanilla come inside. All the political cash come inside. Me plan mass and up strong. Agriculture inside Bogia, Papua New Guinea.
Whilst the national government aims at empowering people economically, Prime Minister James Marape assured the locals that the government will provide the market for copra and other agricultural products in Bogia.
Yambla members of parliament, people are staff, people are all about time based long every man, every house line, long right through our country, they must be economically empowered. Government make up to the long talking market we stop long way, people of a market come close to you. The management team, you may find him and set him law here long hour or one of my be set him Bogia, but try best long buy him right price and give the right price so that effort for you long invest long agriculture, invest in time long agriculture, you can kiss him I get longer.
According to Marape, Kumul Agriculture Limited will partner with Awar to run the plantation. Suli Suli, National MTV News, Medan.
This is MTV National News. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Welcome back. As of yesterday afternoon, Port Moresby has recorded 19 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the national total positive cases to 110. Of the 19 new cases, 1 case is from Morobe, bringing Leh numbers of positive cases to 2. The National Command Centre stated most of the cases are health workers and patients from the Port Moresby General Hospital.
In a media statement sent out last night at 7 p.m, Controller David Manning stating from the 72 known active cases, 31 patients were under care, with 3 in critical cases, all in Port Moresby Hospital, including 1 on a ventilator. 10 were discharged yesterday morning from Rita Flynn. Manning stated the laboratory in Goroka yesterday completed 182 tests and confirmed 15 cases on polymerized chain reaction tests, while the other 4 were tested on GeneXpert at the Port Moresby General Hospital. As a push for more testing in Port Moresby, Manning stated that as of Saturday, the health team with support from the NCD Provincial Health Authority had set up tents at Morota, 6 Mile, 9 Mile, Gordons, Pari, Badili and Wanigela health clinics to set up screening areas for patients. Stating that they have identified clusters of cases in Morota, Koki, Wanigela, Port Moresby General Hospital, the National Department of Health, the National Control Center, NCC 3 Mile, 2 Mile, East Boroko, UPNZ Gereu, Hohola and Vadavada, as these areas have been identified as contacts of confirmed cases and tested. A team of 25 PNG Defence Force staff are supporting the health team to do swabbing at the clinics. Meanwhile, St. John Ambulance, with support from the New Zealand Government and the National Department of Health, have set up a drive-through sampling centre at the Taurama Aquatic Centre, where people can get tested if presented with sore throat, cough, fever or runny nose. To date, PNG have recorded 101 cases from NCD, 3 cases from Morobe, 3 from Western Province, 2 from East New Britain and 1 from Eastern Highlands. Rayon Lakingu, National, EMTV News.
Morobe's COVID-19 rapid response team has begun contact tracing on those closest to a man who tested positive yesterday. The 28-year-old showed only mild symptoms and is currently in isolation. His family and employer have been notified. According to doctors, he has had no known contact with the National Department of Health staff who tested positive last week. He is recovering. Port Moresby General Hospital has received over 200,000 kina worth of new personal protective equipment to assist frontline workers. Borneo Pacific Pharmaceuticals Limited donated the equipment to the hospital last Friday. This in response to the hospital's appeal for assistance.
It was a very brief ceremony at the Borneo Pacific Pharmaceuticals Limited head office in Gordon, with preventative measures observed closely. Port Moresby General Hospital CEO Dr. Paki Molumi received the equipment on behalf of the hospital, acknowledging the gesture, which he said was very timely, despite receiving some criticism in social media after launching an appeal.
Now you can see Rita Flynn is 76 bed. It's getting closer to full now. So we have to open up another facility, the Taurama Aquatic Center, and of course other facilities as well. So to do that, we also need the support. That's why we have put flyers on Facebook for people to help. So much negativity, but it's for a good cause. You are helping PMGH to deliver normal services so that NCDPHA and our partners can continue to take care of normal COVID patients.
Among the new personal protective equipment presented were 40,000 face masks, 2,400 surgical gowns, 5,000 latex examination gloves, and 2,000 shoe covers. Other equipment donated include infrared thermometers, face shields, hand sanitizers, safety sharp boxes, surgical head covers, and medical aprons. Borneo Pacific Pharmaceuticals Limited Chairman Sir Martin Paul said their organization was happy to assist Port Moresby General Hospital in the time of the COVID-19 crisis.
This is only my hope. Government will pay more attention to the prevention and control of the people's to take precaution of regular washing, put a face mask.
Sir Martin Paul is concerned, however, that although Borneo Pacific Pharmaceuticals Limited is willing to also donate some testing equipment, government processes have delayed this from taking place and still have not been given the green light as yet.
Importer import cannot sell. Importer send certificate, no process. For donation one, I don't know what is the quality. They do their own test. How do they control? This is something I say out of the frustration. You cannot import, you must have a law. No. They make for a few days at the end. They don't have anything. No treatment protocol. I submit one set to Department of Health. I submit one set to the SOE.
Dennis Orere, National MTV News.
Non-essential public service officers who have been laid off from work during this lockdown period will be engaged to carry out COVID-19 awareness in their communities. This initiative will see the public servants carrying out impact assessment on COVID-19, do awareness and deliver personal protective equipment. Prime Minister James Marape officially launched the program this afternoon.
This awareness program will be carried out by the Department of Personnel Management, Department of Community Development and the Prime Minister's Department. Public servants who were laid off from work have been put into 3 teams to be led by the secretaries of the respective departments. This is to ensure messages of COVID-19 reach the people.
Today is about the public servants coming in to stand firm with our Department of Health and our Department of Police, to stand hand in hand to address this enemy that we have in this country.
In this awareness program, the public service officers will be tasked to give out personal protective equipment, carry out impact assessment and awareness. The program will commence tomorrow, beginning with a training. Public servants will be trained on what to do and the kind of messages to tell the people, and it will be supported by churches, NGOs and the National Capital District.
But this will be supported by our network of churches and NGOs with the leadership of Department of Community Development. This is vitally important, as I mentioned earlier. It requires lots of involvement, people, but we need to be cautious.
According to NCD Governor Poes Pakop, much has been done to carry out awareness program in communities. However, complacency is a major challenge as people are not complying with safety measures imposed by the government. He challenged the people to work together to address the issue.
And as Governor of our capital city, I want to take this opportunity to call on our people to do the right thing. Harim talk na bianim. It's very simple as that. Now is the time for our people to do their part, to protect themselves, their families, our community, and our city.
This awareness program, which will end on the 10th of this month, is a trial program. Recommendations made will shape how the program will be rolled out in other provinces. Prime Minister James Marape, when launching the program, acknowledged all public servants who will be involved in this program.
So in times like this, when the nation is facing tough adversity, problem, the onus is on each and every one of us really in and really together to ensure we keep our country safe.
Rayon Lakingu, National MTV News.
As the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 continues to surge in the nation's capital, testing is simultaneously being beefed up, with the first drive-through testing being conducted at the Tarama Aquatic Center earlier today. Updates from the St. John Ambulance and PNG Defence Force medical personnel on the ground between 7 a.m. and midday today had said that up to 35 people had gone through the drive-through sampling and testing for COVID-19 at the Aquatic Center, and numbers were expected to increase in the coming days. Now, it is important to note that the drive-through is only for testing and sampling. Results are not given straight up until after 1 to 3 days. Frontliners and health workers are encouraging all residents in the National Capital District to voluntarily make a drive by the Aquatic Center to get tested, and or if you are experiencing symptoms of COVID-19, to get tested when you can and as soon as possible, with it being a smart way to keep individuals, families and the community safe. The drive-through center will operate opening from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. daily at the Tarama Aquatic Center, and a free walk-in testing is ongoing at the Rita Flynn Court and other NCD health centers. And now looking at the NAS Fund market report, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.2880 US dollars in the interbank market this morning. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina is buying $0.2805 US dollars, $0.3887 Australian dollars, $0.2297 euro, and 29.02 in Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee and cocoa closed higher, and copra closed lower. Crude oil is trading higher, palm oil and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 114.67 points higher. The ASX 200 is trading at 1.70 points lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 4.40 points lower. Here with National EMTV News, more stories making headlines at home and abroad when we come back. Welcome back. Telecom PNG has been in the forefront of offering telecommunication services to Papua New Guineans since independence. Now with the evolution of communication technology and the wide use of the internet, they've launched a new product, Telecom TV, which will be broadcasting online. With 41 channels, including MTV, there are plans to grow this platform, according to Acting Head of Commercials, Silas Matoli.
Despite the showers on Friday, people were eager to learn about Telecom's new product, Telecom TV. With Telecom already providing internet services, they will be using existing copper, fiber and wireless internet to broadcast this service. Acting Head of Operations John Ovia says this will maximize their services.
It's called a triple play. You have your voice, you have your data and you have TV. So that's coming from the same cable that feeds into your house or into your business houses. So that's how Telecom decided to look and venture into this IPTV business.
You know, we've coming up with something very innovative, and that's offering Telecom TV on over internet. It's a big achievement.
Because Telecom TV is offered through 3 internet mediums, the copper, fiber or wireless internet routers can be used. It will be connected to this Android TV smart box and to the TV using a HDMI cable. Users then subscribe to channels using Telecom's self-care page on the internet.
And then you had your channel, the 5-day, or the 14-day, or the fortnightly one, or the monthly 45 kina.
As long as you have a good quality internet and you have a heavy rain downpour, your quality will still be there. It will not affect unless we have some glitch in the network that affects the internet service.
Telecom TV was officially launched last week Thursday in Lae by Lae MP John Rosso. Acting Head of Commercial Silas Matoli said while they currently have 41 channels, there are plans to grow the platform. Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Lae.
A 3-in-1 classroom of an elementary school in Lae was demolished earlier this year following a dispute between the founder of the school, the landlord and the school board. New Rock Elementary School is a government-registered school with 6 teachers. 3 have not been on the payroll since 2005. The demolition of the classrooms has affected the learning of over 100 students.
New Rock's elementary school in Lae has encountered a lot of challenges since 2017, according to the teacher in charge, Pauline Dow. The problems increased after the parents elected a new board of management for the school, leaving out the person who initiated the school. In February this year, the school's 3-in-1 classroom that was officially open for use in 2016 was demolished.
So time school em come na stop lo here now. Me kirap nungud lo lugi mosem. All policeman, all sambla, all big man, all come inside the school now, all burgum all classroom ya. Now like them learning rights will begin in here. all beginning got rights law, all come to me, depriving learning rights law, jeopardizing learning law.
All beginning blom all born all got right law school na save. Okay, more teachers blom ya trango all no style payroll. But all beginning blom ya maski rain, wind, sun, all come. No got classroom, all no give up. You just look at the classroom now. Classroom on silly people beg ya. TFF money way. Money blow is school way. Parents me ask people teacher na board bridge school now.
New Rocks Elementary School is located at Lay Center Market Community in the IELLG of Nawai District, and it's administered by Lay District. The school was established in 2014 as an agency of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Due to a dispute among the Board of Management, the church withdrew its administration. In 2017, the parents elected new board members due to the ineffectiveness of the first Board of Management.
The management set up, the 3-year terms being expired, and they continue without proper policy, and they continue to use the money that wasn't supposed to be used. I found this was not the way. They were not following the TFF policy. The TFF grant policy was not followed.
The parents said the school shouldn't be relocated following a letter from the provincial administrator dated 22nd of January 2019. New Rocks Elementary School is one of 2 elementary schools serving the community with a population of over 5,000.
We really need help at this stage of at this point of time because of the situation for COVID-19. So we normally send the kids back home at 10 o'clock because by looking at the it's not really safe for the kids and all that. So sometimes we send the kids home early because of the situation, and we really desperately need help. Financially, we really need a lot of support because of the TFF grants is not coming down to the rightful people. And as the admin of the day, mipla no access him one pla fund through law account the school yet.
Getting was one responsibility law MP plus the district. Now 2 the division of education Morobe province. Now 2 Department of Education. Education minister must consider him right now. I must make sure check him department belong him, division belong him, and the government all workers on him.
We really need help at this stage of at this point of time because of the situation for COVID-19. So we normally send the kids back home at 10 o'clock because by looking at the it's not really safe for the kids and all that. So sometimes we send the kids home early because of the situation, and we really desperately need help. Financially, we really need a lot of support because of the TFF grants is not coming down to the rightful people. And as the admin of the day, mipla no access him one pla fund through law account the school yet.
Julie Badui, our National MTV News, Lay.
Trukai Sports is next. Fidelis is at the sports desk.
Thank you, Jeremy. Approval given for the Intercity Cup competition to continue and the passing of an icon in rugby league. Those stories and more in Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports.
Good night and welcome to Trukai Sports. The National Pandemic Response Controller, David Manning, on Friday afternoon finally gave the approval for the Papua New Guinea National Rugby League competition to continue with the Digital Cup. Manning said in the approval that no spectators will be allowed at matches, with all games broadcasted for home viewing. Also, special permission for domestic air travel will be given to teams to travel to Port Moresby and out of the city as well. But the competition will be monitored to adhere with strict guidelines. If not complied with, will result in the termination of the competition. The national team, the PNG LNG Kumuls, have lost an icon in the game. Former captain and Kumul number 85, Bal Numapo. The 57-year-old from Sinasina Yongumul district in the Chimbu province passed away on Saturday. Bal Numapo had a colorful career with the national side, playing 14 games for the Red, Black and Gold. He also landed a contract with the Canterbury Bulldogs in Australia in 1989. He played as centre for the Kumuls during his playing career and was also part of the rest of the world team against England in 1988. In May 1990, he led the Kumuls to a 20-18 victory over the visiting Great Britain Lions at the Sir Denny Lay Oval in Goroka. He was also the inaugural captain of the Simbu Warriors in the inaugural Intercity Cup competition in 1990. Bal played representative football for Chimbu, Highlands Zone and the Kumuls during his playing career. Aside from rugby league, he graduated with a bachelor's degree in public administration at the Divine Word University. He was a district agriculture officer and worked his way up to be the district administrator of Sinasina Yangumu. And that story ends Trukai Sports. The weather forecast for the next 24 hours with Jeremy after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
Weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region: Port Moresby, mostly fine; Alotau, mostly fine, though occasionally cloudy. Over to the Momase region, in Ley, cloudy with occasional rain; Vanimo, cloudy with occasional rain showers and drizzles. Across to the New Guinea Islands, in Lorengau, occasionally cloudy with possible showers; Kimbe, mostly fine though cloudy, then chances of afternoon rain, showers and drizzles developing. Finally, in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, mostly fine, then likely chances of afternoon showers; Mendi and Wabeg, partly cloudy with chances of afternoon rain and drizzles.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
The way it is, beginning another working week, I am Jeremy Moggy. From all of us here at EMTV, pleasant viewing, good night.